What's up? It's your boy SB. I am back with part 2 of behind the scenes of the Land of Black Gold, which I like to call the real black gold. So this is a video that delves into my thought process and song making process as far as the songs on my new album, Land of Black Gold. So like I was saying in the previous video, the inspiration for Land of Black Gold, the actual album title track, and which is track 1 on the album, comes from Ta-Nehisi Coates' article, The Case for Reparations, the tragic history of Haiti and its current state, and also black wealth, black empowerment through wealth management. So wanted to delve into the black wealth piece. So what I did was with the song, and I guess this will kind of go into process, right? So as far as the process of songwriting, what I did was I started off with verse 1, which basically talks about the way I see my own personal management of money and finances, and how I see other people that I've known or I've come across kind of struggle around money management. And also just kind of how I see basically what I feel like I personally need to do in my own life to be empowered. Because as much as we like to say that these things are not connected, money is important, right? Without money, you cannot have access to certain things. So money is vital. It is vital to, I feel, to some degree, I feel like money is vital to our freedom as black people. Like with money, you can have food, you can have shelter, you can have the necessary, fundamental, important things that are needed as far as your growth, your maturity, your prosperity as an individual and as a human being. You just need these things for your own personal well-being, right? And so the first verse deals with that. The second verse now talks about Haiti and how I believe racism is basically or ultimately made an impact on Haiti's existence and its current state. So a lot of people say, well, Haiti's the poorest country in the world, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of people don't know that Haiti was the first black independent nation. And so I feel that it's one of the greatest travesties of our modern time. And some of the countries that are responsible for where Haiti is today include this great United States of America, as well as France, as well as other European countries who basically ganged up together to say, no, you guys cannot get free. You guys, we won't tolerate you guys being free. Essentially, I mean, I'm just basically throwing a huge summary on the history of Haiti, so it's a really sad thing. It's a really sad thing. And I really encourage you all to study up on the history of Haiti. I can't delve too much into the details just because this is a video and I got to keep it short enough. But basically what I try to connect ultimately is the impact of racism, the impact of white supremacy, the impact of colonialism on black wealth. A lot of times people want to talk about, oh, black people are poor. Why so many black people in the United States poor? Why so many black people live in the ghetto? Well, it's not just that we just showed up living in the ghetto. Besides slavery and all of that, it was a continued attempt up until this day to keep our people not quote unquote just down, because I know that's the thing that people on either side of the fence try to rail against, like, can't keep a black man down, or why are so and so on keeping a black man down. But these are true things. These are based on facts. Like with redlining, for instance, which is one of the things that Ta-Nehisi Coates' article talks about. And my song also goes into land grabbing. Land grabbing was a thing that happened also in post-slavery United States, as well as Africa too. So I basically try to connect the diaspora, right, in all these various avenues to say and to suggest and to postulate my theory, which is that racism or white supremacy, colonialism, whatever you want to call it, has impacted the ability of black people to obtain wealth and to build wealth for their children. So one of the reasons why we don't see that many black billionaires, I mean, besides the dysfunction that goes on in Africa, because I know some people are going to jump down my throat and say, oh, well, but, you know, Africa's dysfunction, who's to blame? But my point is that the lack of wealth that we see here in the States, the lack of wealth that we see in these parts of the diaspora is not something that we personally generated. These are forces that are at work that have suppressed black wealth, that have stifled black wealth, that have prevented people from moving forward. Like I said, one of those things that Ta-Nehisi Coates' article references is redlining. So that's all for the inspiration. And of course, I also talked about the process. So in writing, like I said, verse 1 deals with my personal stance on things in terms of black wealth and my own personal struggles with making sure that I can create wealth for myself and for my kids as well. And verse 2 talks about the history of Haiti. And verse 3 talks about land grabbing both in the States and in Africa as a whole. So as far as the outcome of the song, I wanted something that was raw, that was organic, that, you know, could make you feel, you know, could give you some type of emotion. So I initially had written at least, I would say, a third of the song, mostly the first verse. I had written it to a different beat that my homeboy, Andre Jackson, shout out to Andre if he's watching this, had produced years ago. And I'd always wanted to talk about Haiti. I always wanted to vent about what I thought, you know, was the injustice, the continued injustice of how basically Europe and of course the United States have kept Haiti, which is the first independent black nation, in tatters, in poverty, essentially, you know. So I always wanted to have an avenue to vent that. And so, you know, as time went on, I lost contact with Andre, and I came across this young up and coming producer whose name is Serge. Shout out to Serge. And he had this beat, which when I was in the studio and I had started working on the album, my boy Bolu, who engineered and mixed and mastered the project, he was playing it. And so I started rapping what I already had. And I realized that, wow, this song matches the energy of this beat and I can make it work. So I started, basically I tweaked a couple lines and started writing and finishing up the song essentially. And I'm really proud and happy of how it turned out. I didn't want a traditional hook, chorus, if you will. I wanted something that felt chanty, something that was easy to just chant, something that was easy to kind of bolster inspiration in the listener. So I wanted you to listen to the record and feel empowered, even though I am talking about history, even though I'm talking about things that you could consider negative. I still wanted to give black folks some type of empowerment or feeling of empowerment through the song. And so that's how the song came about. And like I said, I wanted it to be raw. I wanted it to feel like in your face. I just wanted something aggressive, something that showed that competitive side as far as my emceeing. And I'm really proud of how it turned out. So y'all go check it out. Appreciate it, man. Peace and love.
Let me tell you what they did to us back then in Haiti. Liberation, independence, money dried up, no slavery. No different from the reason gave us crack in the 80s. Cause the bottom line, sister, never mess up their money. Back to Haiti, you probably heard of Toussaint Louverture, the man who led his people straight out of manure. Cause they forced our people as slaves to work on manure. Matter of fact, they're still drinking our people kind of manure. So